In the last few talks that I spoke in front of TEXPERS, I talked about many of the positive things that are going on in the country. Even though there are a lot of short-term negatives going on, there are some very positive things going on in the country that are kind of lost in the shuffle of what is going on in today's newspaper. So I'd like to take a few minutes to remind you of those things, and then we can talk about the three things that I'd hope to discuss. The first thing that I mentioned in one of my talks is the explosion in natural gas. This is truly a game changer in economics, and it is truly phenomenal to see it happen. We are, for the first time in this country, going to be able to create a surplus in natural gas which will allow us to export. Prior to this time, we were only importers. Now we are going to be exporters. We have the capacity to produce natural gas at $4 to $4.50 per thousand cubic feet. We can ship it for another $4 to $4.50, and we can sell it in markets as high as $16 in Japan and in Europe at $10 or $11. So this is going to be a tremendous opportunity for the United States. In addition to that, it is now estimated that we've got 100 years supply. I just recently saw a study that was produced in Texas that said that the natural gas drilling won't even taper off for the next 20 or 30 years. So this is something you cannot lose sight of, because it leads us to the next thing that's very positive in this country, and that we are becoming the low-cost producer because of this natural gas. There are things going on in manufacturing that are pretty exciting, but one of the most exciting thing is that we're going to be the low-cost producer of natural gas. There are companies from all over the world planning to open up plants in the United States to be able to take care of this low cost in energy. Matter of fact, the ironies of ironies, would you ever believe that a Middle Eastern country, Egypt, is bringing over their largest fertilizer manufacturing plant to set up in America because they can buy the natural gas cheaper here than they can in the Middle East. So this is truly an amazing thing. The other thing that's happening in manufacturing is computer-assisted manufacturing is developing very rapidly. Just to give you an example, Nike used to ship their tennis shoes overseas. It would take 37 steps to produce a tennis shoes. They now have a computer-assisted machine that will literally weave the tennis shoe like a sock. They've eliminated 35 parts of the manufacturing process, and they are now able to produce these tennis shoes in the United States as cheap as they were anywhere in the world. They saved the shipping cost, and they've reduced the waste tremendously. So that's another area. And then the most exciting thing in manufacturing is the 3D printing. This is something that's just out of dreamland. They are now able to take a computer-designed blueprint. They put it into a machine which pours into liquid materials, and then they build it right into the machine to where they can literally produce parts just like you would print on a piece of paper. Matter of fact, in science and technology, they are already experimenting in taking human cells, printing a blueprint of a kidney, and actually being able to create a kidney. One of the major developments in the science area is in that field, and obviously that'll eliminate all problems with transplant because they're using your tissue and you don't have to worry about rejection. So these are some phenomenal things that are being developed, and it's going to create us, United States, as low-cost producer in manufacturing. Matter of fact, in order for Europe to be competitive with America, they have to reduce their costs 30%. You can see the rioting in Greece and Portugal and Spain and all of these countries because they have to lower their costs. And despite all the costs that they've lowered, they still got to go another 30 to 40% before they can even be competitive to the United States. Japan is no longer competitive with the United States. They're bringing their automobile plants over here, and they're starting to print money again to reduce the value of the yen because they are so uncompetitive in compared to the United States. China, which used to be the main competitor, is still a competitor, but because of the wages and the unrest and the shipping and so forth, There are many companies that are starting to bring their plants over. Because of these items I've mentioned, the long-term future of America is very bright indeed.